In Chapter 15, Section 3, we're going to discuss three patterns of evolution. The first being coevolution, the second being convergent evolution, and the third being divergent evolution. Now, which pattern occurs and how quickly it occurs is going to be a result of different changes that are going on in the environment. So with coevolution, that means that two or more species that have a close relationship with each other are going to be changing together. For instance, a predator-prey relationship. If a prey gets quicker or smarter, like a little bit more sneaky, then the predator is going to have to make adjustments in order to still catch that prey. So they would have to evolve together unless the predator were to just give up and find a different type of prey. Same type of situation with a parasite and a host, or a plant and the animal that pollinates it. Okay, they have such a close relationship with each other that if one changes, the other's going to have to make adjustments as well. With convergent evolution, that's where organisms look in appearance like they are similar, but they're not actually very closely related. So for instance, the shark and the porpoise or a dolphin, they have that same large streamlined body, the same fin, and that's because that's best for that particular environment. That environment has selected that phenotype to survive well. But the dolphin is going to be a mammal and the shark is a fish. So they're really not that closely related. They just have a similar appearance to them. So that is convergent evolution. The last one is the divergent evolution, and that is when you have organisms becoming more different from one another. So they are closely related, but they have different appearances based on what's happening around them. One example that we've mentioned before are Darwin's Galapagos finches that have adapted these different types of beaks in order to divide up the limited resources of food on the island. So they started as one original species and have since diverged into 13 different types of species. A type of divergent evolution where humans are involved is called artificial selection, and that's pretty much breeding of any type of animal. I put dogs up here for an example, but dogs are still dogs, but they have many different appearances because we have bred them to have those specific traits. So we've sped up this evolution process to get, a dog that has the particular traits that we want them to have. The last thing I want to discuss are called the peppered moths, which are known in Europe for this trend that we see. And what happened with the peppered moths is that they before the Industrial Revolution, they tended to have more lighter colored numbers with these little speckles on them than the darker colored phenotype. Both were around in the environment, but more of the light ones were around because they live in trees, and the lighter ones blended in better with the trees, so the birds didn't see them as often and they didn't eat them. So the lighter ones were the ones surviving and reproducing and then having more lighter colored babies. Now, after the Industrial Revolution, where you're starting to have a lot more factories and pollution being produced, the trees actually became a little bit darker with a layer of soot or smog over them. And once the trees darkened up, there was a shift in the population to have more dark moths surviving, because now the dark moths are the ones that are blending in best and the light ones are standing out more, and so the light ones are being eaten and the dark ones are surviving and reproducing and therefore producing more dark moths. So it's not changing. They didn't morph from light color to dark color. It's that the dark ones were the ones blending in best, so they were surviving and they were passing on those good traits to their offspring.